What's going on, everyone? So, Pat Riley from the Miami Heat just came out point blank and said, hey, we're not trading Jimmy Butler. So what he exactly said was, we usually don't comment on rumors, but all this speculation has become a distraction to the team, and it's not fair to the players and coaches, Riley said Thursday in a statement. Therefore, we will make it clear, we are not trading Jimmy Butler. This is very interesting, right? So there have been a lot of talks, a lot of murmurs, a lot of rumors going around that the Miami Heat are willing to kind of call Jimmy Butler's bluff. That the only team that really has the money to sign him to a max contract would be the Brooklyn Nets next offseason. So they're kind of like, if you really want to go to Brooklyn and go through a rebuild, sure, good luck to you. Right? Miami can offer him the most money, and not just that, but they could easily trade him in the offseason to one of these contending teams via a sign and trade. So them getting and recouping assets from another team isn't really going to go anywhere, right? So if you're Miami, you're not in a rush to sell Jimmy Butler. Like, if some great trade package comes along, I wouldn't be shocked. Here's the thing. We have heard GMs and, opposing teams and all this stuff trying to go after guys, and GMs have came out and been like, nope, not trading him, not happening. And then all of a sudden he's on the trade market. Great example was DeMar DeRozan with the Toronto Raptors. The GM was in a press conference, literally a press conference, talking about, we're not trading DeMar DeRozan, he's a Toronto Raptor for life. And then like a week later, they ended up trading him for Kawhi Leonard, to be fair. But that's the point, right? Like, if a team comes in and offers the Miami Heat an offer that they can't refuse for Jimmy Butler, they're going to trade Jimmy Butler, right? They are probably just not getting the offers that they want, and they're probably looking at it as like, all of these offers are probably still going to be there in the offseason, maybe even more, because you might get this team that's like, we were right there. Man, what if we get a Jimmy Butler? Could that be the piece that, like, say Houston, for example, has been linked to Jimmy Butler, right? I have said repeatedly, I want Houston to stay as far away from Jimmy Butler as possible because I just think they're on the right path. They're on the right course. Right? But if they make the conference finals, and let's say it's against whoever, OKC, right? Just argument's sake. And they lose in like a tough 6, or even like a tough 7, do they look at it and go, man, Jimmy Butler, we win that series, right? If we had Jimmy Butler, we would have beaten them. Let's go get Jimmy Butler, right? Like, you never know what kind of starts rattling in these teams' minds once the dust has settled. So it's very possible that Miami kind of waiting out could maybe yield a bigger return, because you might get these teams that are close or desperate, or say they lose a star in the offseason or something. It's like, man, we really need to bring in a guy, right? Like Dallas, for example. Like, let's say Dallas loses Kyrie in the offseason. Do they now go like, well, we need somebody, right? Should we just see if Jimmy Butler and Luka can fit? And do they maybe go make a play for that? Again, trying to use an example of something that's a possibility, right? Or the Clippers. Let's say, James Harden leaves in the offseason. Do they go, well, we got Kawhi still. Should we just go get a Jimmy Butler and try to do like the Paul George Kawhi 2.0? But Jimmy Butler has done more with less. And maybe we can end up winning a championship with a healthy Kawhi and a Paul George. You never know what these teams might be thinking or what could end up developing. I don't buy that he's untradeable, like that they're not going to trade him, right? I don't. Will they give him a long-term contract? Possibly, right? If Jimmy can't get what he wants. But what does Jimmy want? Because you got to keep in mind, Jimmy has all the power here, right? Like, Miami, yeah, they have some power, some leverage. But Jimmy, they're going on the assumption that he's not going to opt out. And if he does opt out, he's not going to go to a team like Brooklyn or whatever. But Jimmy's like crazy level petty, right? Like, Jimmy Butler's a guy I could see being like, I'll just take, a 1-year, $10 million contract to just go sign outright with Phoenix. And then, they can give me a new contract, the following season, or like some back end deal, or like, like a poison pill type of contract where it's like, $10 million the first year, and then like $40 million, $50 million the second year, or something crazy like that, right? Whatever, however they can kind of configure it, right? I think that there's like limitations to that, but you get my point, right? Like Jimmy's the kind of guy that would probably do that just on principle. I don't really buy. So like there were reports that came out that like Jimmy Butler was upset and bothered by like Pat Riley's comments. I don't really buy that. I really don't. Like, is it possible? Sure. Obviously, I don't know. I don't talk to Jimmy. I'm not like buddies with Jimmy. We're not like having beers on Friday night, right? So like I don't know. I can't like call him and be like, hey, were you really bothered by that? Like Jimmy Butler just doesn't seem like the guy that really cares about that stuff, right? I mean, he's been public and called out teammates and organizations and all kinds of stuff. Like, you know, look at what he like did to the Timberwolves, right? Like, and then went and did like a press conference after. And then, you know, like I don't know. He just, to me, doesn't strike me as the guy that would be offended by an organization challenging him, right? Like, hey, man, you shouldn't talk when you're not playing. I mean, what Pat Riley said wasn't wrong. Pat Riley was right. Dude, you weren't healthy. And you're over here running your mouth, oh, this would have been different if I was there. Well, guess what? You weren't there. And so it wasn't different. You're sitting on the couch all offseason because you couldn't stay healthy enough to come and finish the job, right? So, again, it's not like Pat Riley just was talking out of the side of his mouth. Like what he was saying was accurate. What he was saying was true. So to me, like I don't really see Jimmy again. I don't know, but I just like the report. Why wasn't this a report, 2 months ago when Jimmy Butler was first on the market? Like, why did this just kind of come out of left field? I think it was just, somebody said something through the grapevine or something like that, and then they just kind of ran with it. I don't really buy. Like, I don't think Jimmy Butler would, like, that would be the thing that he goes, get me out of here. I don't want to be here no more. Like, I don't think that that's Jimmy Butler, right? I don't doubt that he might want to go elsewhere. Right? I don't doubt that maybe the relationship is soured, but I don't think that that's the reason. I think it's probably a combination of things. I think it's like, Jimmy Butler's like, you got all these young guys, like, you're not trying to make a push, right? Like, I think it's just the circumstances, right? Like, things happen. I think Miami's kind of like, do we really want to pay all this money for Jimmy Butler, right? I think Jimmy Butler wants the money, he wants to win, he wants all this stuff, and I think Miami's just kind of like, do you really want to pay this guy $60 million a year to, maybe play half the season and maybe or maybe not be healthy come playoff time? So I just think circumstances, I think it's just at that point where Jimmy Butler's kind of this like question mark in a lot of ways. Healthy and in the playoffs, we all know what Jimmy Butler is. We all know what Jimmy Butler can do. Jimmy Butler's done more with less than probably anybody. So he's a guy that wholeheartedly could be a complete game changer for an organization, right? Right circumstances, Jimmy Butler could be that piece that really does put you over the top. That really does win you an NBA championship. But it's a gamble. It's a risk. And, what are teams willing to give up? Like, how many teams are willing to sell the farm to go get Jimmy Butler, who, how many more years does he have left? He's already dealing with injury issues. He wants money, right? Like, can we count on him? There is the concerns about regular season Jimmy. Obviously, playoff Jimmy is just a different animal, different beast. And he tries to pretend like that's not true, but the eye test, the numbers, everything shows that it is true. That Jimmy Butler regular season, like there's a lot of concerns like how serious does he take the regular season? Right? He's not a guy that's just like going all out every game. Right? Like he has games where he kind of is just out there coasting, it feels like. And then he has games where, like the big games, against Boston, he's like, all right, watch. Like, you'll hear, like, he dropped, like, 40 against Boston. You're just like, well, okay, that makes sense. It's Boston, right? He just wants to stay in their heads, stay in their mentals. So it's kind of my thought process on it. Like, I just think Miami's probably looking at it and going, like, there's just nothing there. Right? We're not just going to trade him just to trade him. It's got to make sense for us. I just don't think that there's anything that makes sense currently. Now, obviously, again, things could change, and things can change quick. It's the NBA. Like I said, DeMar DeRozan, literally, the GM was in ownership and all this stuff. We're sitting there in an interview talking about, DeMar is a Raptor for life. He's our best guy. We love him. And the next thing you know, you get news that he's being shipped out to San Antonio, right? Like, things change quickly in the NBA. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, and I pass a question on you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What are your thoughts? What do you make of this Jimmy Butler situation? Do you still think he'll get traded? Do you think like, nah, like they're going to keep him? They'll wait till the offseason, kind of figure out what they want to do. Do you think that one of these teams should overpay and go and get him? I feel whatever your thoughts are. I'd love to hear it. So let me know either way down in the comments below. That being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me a lot. Helps me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. Not subscribe to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.